Hi, my name is Misha. In this presentation, I'll be analyzing how pricing affects daily demand for Yochi, a frozen yogurt store that's located inside of McCrory Center. I'll be using microeconomic frameworks and Excel analysis to recommend the prices that maximize Yochi's revenue. So the core business problem I'm investigating is what price should Yochi charge to maximize revenue given that students are highly price sensitive. Because Yoji doesn't publicly provide their sales records, I created a simulated data set representing about 30 realistic days of sales based on typical frozen yogurt prices, student purchasing behavior, temperature variations, toppings, discounts, and weekend activity. So, this allows me to demonstrate how microeconomic theory and Excel tools as well support real world business decisions. The dataset includes daily price, quantity sold, toppings count, temperature, discount, weekend effects, and revenue. The across the project, I've used summary statistics, scatter plots, regression, pivot tables, and charts. And basically, I've used these things to try and understand how these variables influence demand. The first economic framework is the law of demand, which states that when prices increase, the quantity that's demanded also increases. The quantity that is demanded decreases. This is especially relevant for university students who generally have tight budgets and tend to react strongly to small price changes. This is very relatable as a uni student who lives on campus for me as well. So, before analyzing the data, we expect the quantity to fall when prices rise. The second framework is price elasticity. This elasticity tells us how responsive buyers are to price changes. For Yochi's student market, demand is likely elastic, which means that there is a small increase in price, which leads to a large drop in quantity. Understanding elasticity helps determine whether a higher price will increase or decrease Yochi's total revenue. The summary statistics show that the average daily quantity that's sold is around 116 cups, and the average price across the period is $8.38. And the average daily revenue is about $960. Weekend behavior is also quite important because the average quantity is noticeably higher on the weekends than on the weekdays. So this suggests that Yochi could introduce weekday promotions such as student discounts or topping bundles or boost sales on these slower days of the week. The price versus quantity scatter plot also shows a downward trend. So as the price increases, the number of cups sold decreases. The trend line and the R squared value of around 0.76 indicate that the price is a strong predictor of demand. This visually confirms the law of demand and reinforces that buyers exhibit elastic behavior, which means that demand drops sharply when prices rise. To understand demand more precisely, I ran a multiple regression using price, toppings count, and temperature as predictors of quantities sold. The results were strong. The price coefficient was negative 33, meaning that for every $1 increase in price, daily sales fall by roughly 33 cups. This confirmed high elastic demand. Toppings had a positive coefficient of about 4, meaning that offering additional toppings increases demand. Temperature also had a positive effect. Hotter days led to higher sales of frozen yogurt. All variables were statistically significant with p-values below zero point zero 0.01, and the model had an R squared of 0.896, meaning it explains almost 90% of the variation in the daily sales. This shows that the model is both strong as well as reliable. The pivot chart compares average quantity and revenue at each price point. So the results show that the $7.9 price produces both the highest quantity sold and also the highest revenue. At $8.40, revenue drops slightly, and at $8.90, both quantity and revenue fall sharply. This confirms that setting prices too high reduces revenue because demand is elastic. Based on this analysis, my recommendation is that Yochi keeps their base price between 7.9 to $8.4 and offers topping bundles to leverage the positive topping effect and uses also the weekday discounts to lift demand. They should also promote cold items on hotter days since the higher temperatures increase sales and like I've mentioned before. Lastly, to conclude, the analysis shows that student demand for Yochi is highly price sensitive. The optimal pricing ranges between $7.90 and $8.40, and the demand is influenced by the toppings that are used at Yochi and also by the temperature in a positive manner. Throughout this project, I developed key employability skills like Excel data skills, data analysis skills, economic reasoning, problem solving, and professional communication. These skills are relevant for roles in business analytics, retail operations, and marketing, and show my ability to make data driven business decisions as well. Thank you so much for listening to me, and yeah, have a great day. Thank you.